Everyone in their life has to go through a traumatic event at some point or another. But what if that event happened when we were young, specifically under the age of 18, and it was never properly dealt with? The first effect is that we might have unsatisfying relationship. One of the easiest ways to spot unresolved childhood trauma is to observe a person in their intimate relationships, whether platonic or romantic. A child, when raised in a healthy environment, should be able to set clear boundary and have confidence when interacting with others. Those are the people that have learned the basics of attachment, the basics of trust and love. Their parents have been there for them when they need it, and so they grew up with a set of skills ready for any kind of relationship. However, the people who were hurt by a parent or went through traumatic events at a young age do not have this privilege. They never grew up having someone to depend on. They never grew up having someone who loved them unconditionally. They were never taught how to deal with their emotions or other people's emotions, which makes it extremely difficult for them to navigate in friendships and romantic relationships. When you've been through childhood trauma, it's most likely that you either have an avoidant attachment style or an anxious attachment style. You either being afraid of intimacy and getting close to people due to growing up, all you associate with love is pain, or you might be very clingy and have extreme fear of abandonment. These fears are not unreasonable, for you've been through that painful event before. It is a way that you protect yourself from being hurt again. However, this comes with a cost. Many childhood trauma survivors are unable to enjoy satisfying relationships, and they feel so lonely in the world. They might think that there was something inherently wrong with them and could never understand why they are so different from others. The second effect is that childhood trauma survivors are more prone to other mental illness, like depressions and anxiety. When feelings are not properly dealt with, they still stay there in the subconscious mind, even though consciously the person is not aware of it. That repressed feelings, along with other stressful things going on in one's present life, could make a person's mental health very unstable. Sometimes our body could break down entirely to cure us of those repressed feelings. Our body and mind have their limits. When you force them to endure too many emotions, they will explode. The third effect is that you might be more prone to physical illness. As mentioned in the book, The Body Keeps a Score, the mind is strongly connected to the body. Repressed feelings, which are stored in the mind, are also stored in the body, and in the long run, could lead to cancer and chronic diseases. The fifth effect, and it is also the most important one, is that you might deal with poor self-esteem and problem with managing your emotions. Children who dealt with trauma from a young age struggle tremendously with self-esteem, especially when they were physically and emotionally abused by their parents. They were never taught what love was. I mean, they was, but in their mind and their version of love, love is pain. They didn't know what loving words really are, and so they are unable to love themselves. Everyone struggles with limited belief from time to time. However, poor self-esteem is extremely to witness in childhood trauma survivors. They seem to constantly worry and self-blame all the time. They seem to worry about things that no one else would be worried about. Whenever things go wrong in our childhood, it could be little things as a loss of a toy or a bad day at school. Parents should be there to console and pacify us, assuring us that things are going to be okay. The skill is crucial in adulthood, the ability to pacify ourselves when things go wrong. However, if you've dealt with a trauma related to an abandonment of a parent or maybe an emotionally unavailable parent, it can be very difficult to pull yourself back up after something bad happens. You simply have never learned how. It is important to note that some of the problems we have as adults could possibly date back to when we were like a 4-year-old child. That, however, doesn't mean that you're doomed to live like that for the rest of your life, just because your childhood was unhappy. So, stay tuned and subscribe to this channel for more information on mental health. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you, everyone.